Derby County are edging closer to investment after reports from John Percy suggest that people within those discussions have growing confidence that a deal will be secured in the near future. Now, obviously, Derby County were taken over by David Clowes back in 2022 at the end of the administration season, where Derby County faced relegation from the Championship after losing a 21-point deduction. Now, Wayne Rooney and Liam Rossigna were at the helm then, but ultimately a lot has changed since then. David Clowes went on to bring in Paul Warne just 12 games into the 22-23 season, of which Paul Warne went on to take Derby County up to the Championship in his second season in charge. Paul Warne is no longer the manager at Derby County, and it is now John Eustace. An investment will be growingly positive for Derby County and their fan base. Now, obviously, if you've stayed up to date with Derby County across the course of the last season, you'll know that it's not exactly gone to plan. It started really well with 12 points in 9 games, but ultimately since then, Derby County have only picked up 20 points and find themselves sitting rock bottom of the Championship. Now, over the course of this time, a lot of people have come in for some stick, including owner David Clowes, as well as his CEO, Stephen Pearce, and manager Paul Warne, as well as the recruitment team. Now, the important thing that Derby County have to take forward is that nobody will disrespect David Clowes. David Clowes has full respect for everything he has done for Derby County since taking over. Many people, including myself, believe that we should have done more to stay within the Championship, but given the recent reports, it doesn't seem as if budgets were the issue in the January transfer window. Now, obviously, David Clowes has been funding Derby County over the course of the last 3 seasons, and if John Percy is to be believed, fees in the region of £13 million a season have been put into the club from his own pocket to fund Derby County. While I don't believe that David Clowes should be praised for doing the bare minimum and funding Derby County, I do believe that you have to praise him for taking on that financial commitment. Now, David Clowes has never made a secret of wanting investment, wanting a potential takeover. We obviously go back to the start of the season where I discussed the report from BBC Derby Sport, which came from David Clowes and Derby County, talking about wanting to hold on to chairman status, keeping hold of 80% of the club and keeping hold of 20% of the club and things like that. So if anything was to go wrong, he was still well within the know of what was going on and he could be able to deal with that problem. Now, I believe that there's not many parties that would want to keep a former owner in a chairman role, maybe in a chairman role where it's sort of a ambassadorial role rather than a role that actually has sort of say and opinion. But if David Clowes was to hold 20%, it'd still have partial say essentially anyway, although it wouldn't be full decision making capacity. Now, obviously, I believe that's probably one of the sticking points that we're facing over the course of a potential investment deal, and that's something which will be addressed by, obviously, David Clowes and any potential takeover party or investment group over the course of the next few seasons. Now, the thing that is going to be really, really interesting for Derby County is whatever budget is put forward for the summer transfer window. Whether that be in League One or in the Championship, it's going to have to be sizable. Derby County currently don't have what I would consider a great squad, and there's a lot of players that are out of contract that will potentially be moving on this summer. Now, there's obviously also players who are under contract that may choose to move on this summer. You look at the 5 loanees that will be heading back: Marcus Harness, Harrison Armstrong, David Ozo, Matt Clark. Well, Matt Clark isn't a loanee, but he's only on 6-month deal, and Nat Phillips will all potentially be leaving the club. You then look at other players who are out of contract, the likes of Forsyth, Liam Thompson, Barkhays and Washington Wilson, who all look set to be leaving the club in the summer. Now, obviously, some of those are leaving. It's probably a good thing they're leaving. Some of them, it ultimately isn't. Now, I think we need to get Kane Wilson tied down to a deal. If there isn't a trigger in his contract to give him another year, then I don't know what we did with his contract. Young player who we knew had quality and potential, and we didn't give a proper contract. You obviously look at Liam Thompson. Is he going to be someone who's going to get a new deal this summer? Who knows? You look at then Tom Barkhays, and for me, I wouldn't give him a new contract. Craig Forsyth is one of those players who I believe you could keep around as a leader in the dressing room, an experienced head, but not necessarily someone to play. But then obviously you look at other players who could potentially move on. Is Zetterstrom going to want to stay? Is Selverson? Is Kenza Heldmine? Is Langas? Is Ryan Niambi? Is Ben Osborne? Are they going to want to stay at Derby County? You then look at someone like Dejan Brown, who ultimately has got a real bright future ahead of him, but hasn't really been given the opportunity for whatever reason under Paul Warne to make consistent starts, and obviously won't have that opportunity under John Eustace due to injury. You then look at players like Joe Ward, you look at Callum Elder, are they going to sort of be fit and ready to go? Are you going to want to keep them? You look at a Blackett Taylor, are you going to want to keep him in the building? Mendes Lang, Caden Jackson, like there's going to be a massive rebuild for Derby County, and investment is going to be massive to that. And Derby County will have to sort of spend a ton of money in the summer window, in my opinion. Whether we stay up or go down, money has to be spent. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to talk about Birmingham, because there was a tweet out talking about how Derby need to spend so much, and I put something about we're either going to do a Birmingham or we're not going to spend any money. And when I said do a Birmingham, I don't necessarily believe that we're going to go out and spend 35 million like they did. But if we go out and spend 10 million improving this squad, we could have a really, really good League One squad. Now, the problem that we're going to face is that squad that we're going to build and the players that we're going to have involved is going to be really, really difficult to put together early in the window. You look at if Langas moves on, we then essentially need 3 centre-backs, maybe 4. If Niambi wants to go, we need right-backs. If Wilson wants to go, we need right-backs. Osborne might want to go. Elder might want to go. Now, I think a lot of these players do need to move on. Maybe not Wilson, maybe not Niambi. Obviously, hopefully, that we can keep Clark and Langas, because then we've got a really good base to build on with, especially for League One, of Clark, Langas with Adams just in front. We've got a decent base there to build on. If we can keep Kenzo and Selverson, there's 2 more players for your sort of base of spine of the team, and you can obviously then improve on that with throughout the window. Now, I do believe that whatever happens over the course of the next few weeks, we need like 4 wingers, we need a bunch of midfielders, we need a full rebuild of the squad, and your Caden Jacksons, your Mendes Langs, your Blackett Taylors will probably fall further down the order, and that is just what Derby County need, and that will come if we get investment. Now, without investment, who knows what's going to happen, and that is going to be the big question on many people's lips over the course of the next few weeks, next few months or whatever, with Derby County, because that investment that is rumoured to be getting closer is going to be huge for our summer. Now, whether that be David Clowes selling 80% of the club, or whether that be David Clowes just taking money off somebody, whatever it is, it's going to be hugely important for John Eustace to be able to build a team based on what he wants. Now, we've spoke time and time again about this club sort of having a team that was built around Paul Warne's football, which was wings, cross, run. Now, I'm expecting John Eustace to want different to that. And I do believe that that's what he's going to try and do over the summer. I don't think he's going to be able to do it now, because I don't think we have the players or confidence to be able to play proper football. But should we get the right deals done in the summer, I think Derby County could be in for some really exciting football over the course of the next season, whether that be in the Championship or in League One. Now, the big question will be is how much money will John Eustace get to spend? Now, if you look at the reports of how much money we nearly potentially spent if deals hadn't fell through in January, then there's probably 10 million in that transfer kitty that we could spend, and that's what I think we probably need to spend in January. We're going to have to take a look at the squad depth over the course of the next couple of weeks, which we are going to do on this channel. You can obviously let me know your thoughts down below. We'll take a look at which players should go, which players could stay, and I'll listen to your opinions on that as well down in the comments. So if you want to have your say for when that video drops, let me know your thoughts down below. And if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you turn on that notification bell, and hit that like button, and I'll catch you in my next video.